Good evening. I am here and all is well. I got everything good today and I apologize for being a little late. A little bit of tech woes, but I won't get into that too much. Google had their event today. And for me, I think the most exciting aspect of it was really the Pixel Buds. The Buds Pro are exciting. I'm a little bit concerned about the Pixel Watch, the way that they kind of hid the edges, kind of like how some companies will show the iPhone in a particular way in order to hide the notch, or others will show it so that it's exposed more. And so some of my thoughts on the Google Pixel 7 coming out. I'm excited to see what Tensor 2 has to offer. I'm excited to see what they do. I think them coming out and saying, this is clearly what we want to do with the watch. It's got Fitbit integration. It's got some Wear OS stuff. And we are taking this serious and primarily expressing that we want this to be fit focused is a good thing. Hi, Big John. Hi, Talk Level Mama. Hi, Sharky. I think it's just interesting that they announced it early, but they didn't really give anything beyond showing a little UI stuff. And I think it's because that gives them time to finalize the hardware and the software and get it ready for this fall. And it'll be interesting to see as well the tablet that they're set to announce. It kind of reminds me of, and this is unplugged right now because, well, but it reminds me of, the Google Hub. If you were to just strip this right off and throw a camera on the back. Let me see if I can get it to. There we go. If you were to remove that from the back and it'll be interesting, and it's a little concerning to me because looking at that, I'm curious if that will be kind of a Tab A sort of experience, whereas instead of competing with like an iPad or Samsung's Tab series, it would be their way of coming into the market and saying, you know what, we're going to come in and, it's got a single camera. We're going back with a tablet. We know that people don't use their tablets to take a lot of photos and stuff, but, you've seen what we can do with a single camera. Here's what it is on a tablet. You see what we do with software on our phones. Here, we've launched the Pixel 6, the 6A, and the 7. So we have 3 devices using the Tensor chip, 2 different generations of the Tensor chip. And here's how Android looks on a tablet. Here's how we feel like we should express how Android looks on a tablet. And that's how they should market it. Do not compare. Do not bring up Samsung tablets. Do not even bring up iPad, don't bring up numbers. Just do what Google does best. They have numbers, they have metrics, they have search, and I think that that's important. Digital driver's license. I was in a Twitter space, and I kind of brought this up because I live in Michigan, and the um, what's the word for it? The laws and everything have been updated for allowing people to use digitally their driver's license. And years ago, they started allowing you to show proof of registration and insurance digitally instead of physically. And one of the things that I've seen implemented this way and the way that it's been done, because people are concerned, well, if I'm using my Apple Wallet or I'm using my Google Wallet or Samsung, Pass to show that, and I get pulled over, can't the cop, unlock my device and have access it? No, the way that it implements would be specific for that. Just like if I go to pay with something, it requires authentication after I hit the payment type before it opens and does anything. And if I go out of that and try to select a different one, it's going to require authentication again. So each pass, each ID and each company that's going to do this method needs to implement it in a way in which privacy is fully put at heart. And we know some of the things that have gone on around the nation. And to me, that there is concern of like somebody takes your device and now they have access to that. The other thing is, I don't see that it will ever be fully just digital. Just like there are times that there's a reason why ATMs still do really well and people still go pull out cash, and there are those instances. And the other thing though that I think that excites me with some of this is if you go to an event, for that to be really secure, they can just have it where your ID, you've submitted a photo as part of the authentication process for getting your pass into like Disney World or Disneyland or whatever the event is. So they know that it's you. And there's no privacy issue with that. You've chosen which image to share. That way they know that it's you, and you know that somebody's not using your pass, not using your information without it being authenticated that way. I just hope to see more and more states implementing these features, as this will kind of help us learn. Because the thing is, no matter how well companies think that something is going to work, until it comes through, until it's into fruition, we don't really know how well this stuff is necessarily going to fully become until we're engrossed in it. It's like people freaked out for a while, and some people still do, about Google Assistant or Siri or Amazon's, I'm not going to say it, assistant, because yeah, they do record, they do gather information. These companies have gotten in trouble with gathering information they said they wouldn't or weren't anymore, or um, people, I guess, didn't really read the full information. And so to me, it's exciting because the more companies that do this stuff, the more we learn about it, and we start to see, like, for example, there's been some stories about air tags and tracking and stuff. Now, if you fully read these, you realize that, like, there's I'm not gonna get into it too much, but like there was an incident at Disney, and this teenager claimed that somebody used an AirTag to track her. Now, my problem with that is she had no screenshots, no proof, and when she said, "Oh, we tracked it to the parking lot," well, we know how these work. That wouldn't be possible. You wouldn't track it to an empty parking lot. If anything, what could have possibly happened because of an update that occurred recently where it requires less time is that somebody lost theirs, hit it, report as lost or, to try to find it. And then it only requires that it's near somebody for 10 minutes before it pings and it goes into the lost mode and it goes to like that sort of thing. So if she was sitting there in the parking lot with her family and somebody dropped it in the parking lot and hit that, she would get a notification, hey, there's a tracker by you. Report that so that the person can find it. That seems to be more realistic. And this is why I don't get when people get into all this and don't really understand the technology. And this is why at the times that I've thought about giving up, about quitting my channel and stuff, that I've come to realize that I have a place in this space to offer, and I really, really enjoy talking about this stuff and being super analytical and deep dive into it. And I hope you all enjoy that too. And I do apologize again for being late. Had some tech woes. And so obviously this week's will be a little shorter, as of course, coming up in 15 minutes at 9 o'clock is Wired Wednesday with Easy Computer Solutions, and I don't want to cut into his time. I also know that there are multiple people streaming right now, so I appreciate everybody who's in here spending their time with me, asking questions, expressing thoughts. So one of the other things that I'm excited about is the price point in which Google is releasing their Buds Pro, and ANC, they're going to have their own version of spatial audio that they've been working on. I'll be curious to see how well that works because um, the 360 audio that I've been testing with my Buds 2 that Samsung has is okay. And what's cool is that it works with everything. So you turn it on and it basically just automatically works. But the problem is, for some things, it seems a little funky. Knowing Google and the stuff that they do with audio, with their assistant, with all that, hopefully, and the information that they have gathering, and the whole where it can understand whose voice is what, hopefully they can use that to essentially understand if it's you talking. Hey, Carl, how's it going? Um, Thanks for sending out that case, by the way. I got the email that the case is coming. It we've moved, so it got sent to my parents, but hopefully, that won't be a problem. I can go pick it up from there, or um, it should get forwarded to me. But anyways, and if anybody watching doesn't know, um, check out Caseborn Cases, and Carl's been putting in the work. He's been expanding to more than just phones. He's been offering cases that are not just like the bulky, rugged. He's been offering some really, really cool colors and cases and things like that. So he's all over. He's all over the place. Um, so one of the things I was thinking about though, with the earbuds, is with the information they have and the training that they have and the machine learning, is that it would be able to isolate the user's voice because they already have that information, and you give it permission to use your voice and to personalize stuff. So if I'm talking, if I start to talk, that can change into a transparency mode. But then if I walk by somebody and they say something to me that it would know that they're saying something to me would be an awesome thing to experience. But then if I'm just walking by somebody and they're not necessarily talking to me, or I turn away from them, that it just kind of continues to ignore. Because these are things that already exist, kind of. The ability for AirPods and different devices where if you're on a train or a bus or whatever, it will automatically switch modes when there's an announcement made and then go back when there isn't. I remember I was using, I think it was a pair of AirPods Pro, and my son was yelling super loud, and they automatically went into ANC mode and then came back out of it. Um, I've had a couple pair of earbuds that have done that I didn't even know could do that. So it's pretty cool to see what they're doing with this. And then as far as like the Pixel 6a, I have varying thoughts about it. Part of me is kind of annoyed because I have a Pixel 6 and, I mean, fortunately, I got a pretty good deal when we switched over to T-Mobile. I got an Pixel 3a XL as like a free line, and then when the 6 came out, basically they let you trade in that and then get credits, basically making it free per month, and then it was a free line. It's the third line free sort of thing. And so that's the line that I had my son use. And so that's not annoying, but like if I wanted to trade towards a Pixel 7, I'm concerned that the Pixel 6 is going to be extremely degraded in value because the fact that the Pixel 6a is $150 less, 25% less. And then with the Pixel 6 Pro, I wonder, so because the difference between the Pixel 6 and the Pixel 6 Pro was essentially resolution, slightly higher refresh rate, and that extra camera. But as far as like charging speeds, reverse wireless charging, all the other stuff was basically the same. And now you have the Pixel 6a that's dropping for 25% less than the Pixel 6 and basically half the price of the 6 Pro. That how do you so two sets of minds came into play. One, how do you convince somebody to continue to purchase the more expensive one for months to come when now they know that the 6A is going to be coming out? Unless somebody absolutely needs the phone, but then they might be like, well, I'm not waiting. And you know what? Because Google has decided that they're going to offer it for less, I'm also not going to buy that. And that could push, I'm just thinking of that could push people to another company. And also, but then the other thing I had in mind was most people buying a Pixel are probably doing it through carrier, whether they go into like Best Buy and they do it to get the deals. Um, they don't offer the greatest trade-in unless it's with a Pixel already. And so, you walk into your carrier and you're looking and and let's say the Pixel 6a is out. But if the 6 is there and you can pay $5 or $10 more a month, how many people are gonna hop on that? And so those are the sets of my kind of the mindsets I have there as far as how that goes. And it's kind of a weird price point offering basically the same processor. And some people have compared it to the iPhone SE, but I don't even really think of it like that because when you think about it, it would be more like if Apple announced that 6 months later, like now they're going to drop a iPhone that's got cameras from the 11, like if they were to have put the cameras from the iPhone 11 with the glass that the iPhone 11 had, but with like an OLED display, and then they put the 13 processor in it, but with less RAM, and then they removed like the wireless charging, so there's no reverse wireless charging and slower charging at 18 watts. Where like the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro, they charge a little bit faster, From my testing, the 6 actually charges faster on a wireless charger than it did wired for me. I was seeing like 23 watts wired and was able to get 27 wireless on a 40-watt wireless charger that I had until they kind of blocked that. So I'll have to get the Google one. But that's some of the things that kind of concerns me. Like, yeah, I get that they have to take some things off, but I really wish they would just stick to once a year, because then it makes you wonder, why do you have, like, if you can offer the same features that are in a flagship and just knock off some of the things, and you're saying, well, there's enough people that will buy it that it's worth us offering that, then are you telling people, like, you're either telling people don't buy our flagship because, you know what, we're just gonna announce something that's gonna have the same processor and just get your cycle to that time of the year, because these are the features that matter to us most, of software. Because watching their event, they kind of pitched that software was really their focus and you get all the same features. So that really seems to tell me that hardware doesn't matter to them, in their own words. And that's concerning to me. And we even saw that when they were showing features and they were showing doing that on an iPhone. Google's all about software, and I've said this. And this is what concerns me about, like, still concerns me about buying a Pixel, because I held off on buying a Pixel until the 3A XL came out. Um, I got it basically because it was free and because I hadn't heard of any issues as far as display discoloration or anything like that. The 4 series came out and the 4 had small battery and people had issues with it. The 4XL seemed dated for the time for a lot of the thing, and the pricing was a little weird, and there were some things that they just did strangely. So then when the 5 came out, I hopped on that and I loved the Pixel 5. The only issue I had was image processing was a little slow. So then when the 6 came out, it was kind of the opposite experience. It was the camera's processing was fast again, but then the operating system didn't really feel smooth at first, and now that's been fixed. And now battery life has been really good. I've been on beta since Android 12L, and then I'm on 13 beta 3 now, and it's been running really well. I did have some issues for a little bit, but I think it's an Android like 12L and up thing, because I had issues on my Samsung device where I just couldn't get calls to come through for some reason. Excuse me. I almost kicked over some cables. So these are just some concerns I have, and I don't mean to sound like pessimistic. I know that I complain, but like, and then I get not doing this in the A line, but the fact that they don't offer video out. I'm not asking for like a desktop mode over that. I'm not even asking for that. But basically for Google to lock out a feature, the hardware that's there, the port that they're using is capable of supporting video out over USB, and they're not doing it. There's no licensing with that. It costs them nothing but to just let it happen. It actually costs them probably more to have their developers lock that out and then to block it so that third parties apps can't do it. And even developer mode doesn't allow it. So they are actively putting something in place to prevent a feature. And this bothers me. It's the same criticism I have for, and then people are going to get on me for this, but for Teslas, where, oh, the hardware will be there, but you have to pay $10,000 or $15,000 more to unlock it. It's like, so you are charging everybody to subsidize a feature, and then the people that really want it, they actually have to pay a certain amount, which, if it wasn't there for everybody, would probably be even more. These are things that bother me, that, like, don't block out a feature that's there. That'd be like, I don't know, Apple being like, you know what, we're just gonna make all one model of the iPhone and the iPhone. We're gonna make different sizes, but they're all gonna come with 3 lenses. And if you want, you'll pay a certain price, and one lens is available, but you got to pay $200 more if you want 2 lenses unlocked. And if you want the third one unlocked, you got to pay $200 more than that. That would be like them doing that in my mindset, because, well, people might not think that video out over USB-C is important. There's a lot of instances in which it could be, and really helpful for the consumer. Like, for instance, um, we like to download Netflix content for our son to watch. He'll be 4 years old in like a few weeks here. And going to a hotel or going away or whatever, and wanting to be able to connect it up so he can watch his shows on the TV, and you can't do it. And some people are like, well, there's Chromecast, but a lot of hotels block Chromecast, or you can't sign in. And then there's like, well, you could just yeah, but I have limited hotspot. And then the other thing is, you got to have that plugged in on a charger. You're going to kill your battery. Even if you're just using the hotspot as like a way of connecting it and then transmitting it, Chromecast requires internet. They require Wi-Fi connection. They need a direct mode. If you're going to try to tell me that, like, Google is saying, well, you can just mirror via Chromecast, or you can just mirror via like SmartCast to your TV or whatever. The problem with that is it's not direct. So it still requires you to do a funky setup. It still requires you to like connect up to a charger, because you are going to really kill your battery more so. Um, you know, with a cheap adapter, and a lot of people have HDMI cables laying around, and that's something you don't have to worry about signing in with. You can sign into your hotel's Wi-Fi and use their stuff. You don't have to work. And if you're just doing stuff that's already downloaded, you're just using their Wi-Fi for that. You don't have to worry about their slow speeds or anything. It's like a day-to-day feature that would be awesome if it was there. Also, if they want to pitch Google Duo, it'd be really cool to be able to just like connect your Pixel up with a cable to your TV, set your Pixel in a tripod or on a stand, and be able to chat with your family and have it there as like and I get they have their help, but I'm talking about like on the go. I'm talking about in the car. I'm talking about, you're going to stay at a hotel, or you're at a family friend's house, or you're getting together with relatives and you want to share photos, and I don't know, they don't feel comfortable sharing their network password with everybody. Or, you're a student and you need to share a project at school. Being able to just plug in with a cable is advantageous in that way. And it's just some of the things that I kind of was thinking about and were a little bit bothersome when Google's event today. Is 9:02. Thanks everybody for coming in. And I want to say thank you to Sharkfin Tech, Big John, Tech Reviews, Harmless Carl, Tech Lovin' Mama, Art Dog, Jason C, for coming in through the live stream. And if you are watching in replay, let me know, and hit the thumbs up. Appreciate it. Please subscribe if you're new. And my name is Michael Pepper of Michael Pepper Tech. I live stream typically on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and sometimes on Mondays as well. And if you want to keep in touch, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and I also have a Instagram photography page. All that stuff will be in a link in the description. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all over in the chat at Easy Computer Solution. Peace out.